Alrighty everyone, welcome back for another video. Today will probably be like the last sit-down style video. I'm going to kind of talk about kind of like restrictions being lifted. Oh, there comes the wind. So it is a little windy out today. It's going to actually storm later today. I do have to trash pick later today, but that will be for tomorrow's video. Or at least trash pick will be tomorrow's video. But I did want to do one more, kind of like a lockdown video. I know a lot of people seem to really request these, and they've done pretty well. People seem to enjoy them, so I'm going to give off my, I don't know if it'll be my final thoughts for the whole thing, because I don't think this will ever be finalized till, obviously with all the research and, vaccines and stuff like that come out. But definitely, I think a lot of things are kind of changing and will be changing over the next month. So I kind of want to talk about how that's going to affect me, maybe affect you guys, and hopefully, help us get through this last month or so of this whole, fiasco and see what we can do with that. So kind of do a little bit of that. I still have to get to the scrapyard, which should be open on Monday. Very excited about that. I will also, we'll talk a little bit more about this when I do a video. I think I'm going to definitely do a video on scrapyard, taking stuff, but I'm not going to be taking my premium stuff, only the iron. But we'll get into that another time as more and more things kind of switch and change up. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so welcome back. Here we go. Talking a little bit about reopening up. Like I said, this is probably going to be the last one that I do with this whole lockdown situation. But I'll probably do some more of these sit-down talks. It seems like a lot of people enjoy them. So thank you for all that. Thank you for all the kind remarks. If you guys want to drop your comments or concerns about anything kind of going on, you're free to go ahead and leave them in the comment section. I try to read as much as I possibly can. Obviously, I can't get to everything. But yeah, drop your comments or your concerns down below and what you think about it. That's perfectly fine if you agree or disagree. Now is a great time to kind of get it out. But I think at some point you do have to kind of sit down and tell yourself, look, we have to start reopening things. We have to start, changing the way that we live to try to get back to some sort of normalcy. And obviously, this doesn't erase what has happened. This doesn't really erase anything, but you have to figure out that there has to be some sort of timeline where you kind of stay to it or stick to it. Not too long ago, I mean, we said this was going to be a 2-week or a 3-week thing. A lot of people are like, 3 weeks, we can't do 3 weeks, that's too much. So we did 2 weeks. And some places were like, that's not going to work. So then we just decided April 1st. April 1st, we were going to reopen everything. Well, April 1st came, and it was like, no, April 12th, we'll do Easter weekend. I think that was Easter weekend. And then we're like, nope, not April 12th. So then we did May 1st. And some places are doing May 15th now. They extended it for May 8th. They're going to start doing phase 1. But you have to sit down and be like, look, we can't just keep delaying everything by a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Every single week, unemployment keeps going up. You have a whole psychological issue going on, but you got to stick to some sort of guideline. And, like I said, it wasn't going to erase anything, but you have to stick to something. I do like the whole thing with the mask thing. I know a lot of people have been asking, like, what are you going to do with the flea market? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I think you're going to have to wear masks, at least for this calendar year. And the reason why I say that I think you're going to have to wear a mask if they open is because I think that's just like kind of the smartest way to do with these interactions. The whole thing with the mask thing is it kind of prevents you from like kind of just like coughing on someone or sneezing on someone. So many people are just, their social awareness is just junk. It's just completely shot. I was at the grocery store a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Everyone asked them to wear a mask, and someone literally took off their mask to blow their nose, and then they just coughed like 2 or 3 times, like a heavy, raspy cough. And I literally just almost just left my shopping cart right there and just left. I was so fed up. It's like, this is why we're having so many issues, is because people just aren't taking the right precautions. They're not being serious. Why would you take off your mask to blow your nose and then just cough? Why don't you go into your shoulder? Why don't you put your mask back on? I don't know. People just, I don't get it. And then the other issue is I think a lot of people just don't even understand what they're doing. They're wearing gloves, then they're touching their face, then they're touching their mask, then they're touching their phone. So I don't think, I think the whole mask thing, as long as you keep it on, you kind of protect yourself from other people. As for everyone else, man, you're out there and it's like the Wild West, I'm telling you. So I do think if they ever do open up flea markets, especially this year, I think we will definitely see a lot of people having to wear some sort of protection for their face, which I'm perfectly fine for. If that's what it takes to kind of open up stuff, I'm cool with that. I think, you're going to start seeing a lot of these other places start to open up. I think someone else was saying the other day that some places in the Northeast, the upper Northeast, might start opening up thrift stores May 1st. So what's that? I think that's when this video is coming out. Today is Thursday, so I'm going to post this on Friday. But, I think as long as people take the right precautions, I think you're all right. I just think the biggest thing with this is you got to protect yourself, because everyone else is just, it's like literally you don't know what's going on with other people. In terms of like the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, I do like that idea. I think you do have to set some sort of, guideline. Like I said, we started talking April 1st, April 12th, then we said May 1st, then May 8th, May 15th. You got to start somewhere. I don't think the entire country can open up at once. I think you have to kind of divvy it up because there are hot spots and whatnot, and I'm talking only about America because that's where I live. I don't know the situation to the full extent in every single country out there. But I think that's kind of something you got to start. You got to start somewhere. I don't think a lot of things that were planned are going to happen this year. It's not the end of the world. Rummage sales, I don't think we're having rummage sales here in the spring at all. I think there's like literally less than 5% chance any place has a rummage sale. In the fall, the percentage I think is still pretty low, but outdoor events I think can still happen. Yard sales, garage sales, there's a good possibility that stuff can still happen. So yeah, am I confident about things kind of getting back together? Absolutely. But the one thing I definitely like to say is like you got to take your own precautions and protect yourself to the best way you can possibly protect yourself, because I hate to break it to you, but you can't protect other people. It's kind of like driving. Anyone's ever out driving, everyone's worried about distractions, this, that. Look, you can only drive to the best of your ability. I'm not worried about my driving skills in the weather. I'm worried about other people's driving skills in the weather. That's my concern. So other people and their bad driving is probably going to affect my driving. And that's kind of the whole mindset you guys have to have with a lot of things, is that you just got to protect yourself and be aware and be socially aware to kind of adapt to different situations, like the person taking off their mask and coughing everywhere. I mean, at that point, you might as well just lick the shopping cart. I mean, you're pretty much playing the odds the same way. All right, so another thing is kind of, what's going on with the business aspect of, eBay and buying and selling. Obviously, I talked a little bit about flea markets and, maybe wearing masks and whatever has to do to open up. Thrift stores as well. I can definitely see thrift stores, being like any other store. I was actually out at Home Depot the other day. My sump pump was having issues in the morning. I went out and actually had to go and buy a new sump pump and fix it at night. And I went there at like 4:30 in the afternoon. It literally looked like, if you ever been to Walmart or Target the week before Christmas, it was legit just like that. I mean, Dairy Queen, I think, was across the street. The line to Dairy Queen was through the roof. It had to be 15 cars, 20 cars deep. Burger King was packed. I mean, I think you might as well just move on with it. I think a lot of people aren't really, they're at the point where they're just kind of over it. As at Home Depot and people are looking at flowers. It's not really an essential thing is to buy flowers right now, but I think eventually you're going to have to move forward. In terms of like buying and selling, thrift stores, I hope they do open up. One thing I would definitely say is like masks are still a very, very good business. I know a lot of people like to craft. If you can sew, Etsy and eBay offer a great opportunity right now if you have any sort of fabric, especially printed fabric, to make your own masks, and sell them. If you can bang out 4 or 5 in an hour, $10 a piece. I know on eBay I was looking at like specific sports teams. They were selling like instantly for like $10 free shipping or $15 free shipping within like an hour of certain teams. I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is like, an opportunity. If you know how to sew and you know how to craft, here's a great time to kind of, sit down and make a business out of it. I know a lot of people are kind of hurting with, employment. eBay right now is soaring. eBay sales are soaring. Everyone's home. A lot of things you can't buy on Amazon, they're not delivering in 2 days or 3 days. So now's a great time if you're someone who's self-employed or not self-employed to make a little bit of money. I know Amazon, they call me every single day. I know a lot of people don't want to work in a factory. $20 an hour, starting pay. You don't even need a high school diploma. You don't have to go to Harvard. You don't need a degree. $20 an hour. It's crazy. You're giving it away. You like win a lottery. Working a day there, you're winning a lottery. I mean, you're kind of risking something, but you're winning the lottery. Pay-wise, in a way, for, what's kind of required. So that's kind of like, there's so many opportunities out there if you want to continue to work, if you want to stay home, like I said. eBay, great thing. Still, a lot of things are selling. Video games, selling through the roof. I mean, you know, all these stores are closed. They're still going strong, and I think eBay is going to go downhill in like 4 or 5 weeks when everything starts to open up and you start seeing like stores start to be like, all right, now we'll allow, you know, 50 people in or 30 people in, but we'll open up. I think you'll start seeing a lot of slowdown on eBay and stuff like stuff of that nature. So if you have an opportunity right now to kind of do something like that, great way to do that. It's definitely something that can really help you or help someone else, especially if you're kind of financially in the hole a little bit. In terms of stock market, remember when I started this thing, it was like saying how bad the stock market was? Look what happened in the last month. You know, crazy, ain't it? It's kind of crazy. So you kind of just have to adapt. You know, I think there's opportunity there if you're, you know, financially in the hole in some sort of way. You just have to adapt. It's kind of like anything. Being self-employed, I think, you know, you definitely really have to adapt. So, you know, this is definitely an opportunity. All right, lastly, I did want to kind of touch base about that. I think a lot of people have kind of learned from this. And learned a little bit about news outlets and news media, and I hope everyone's still diversifying where they're getting their information from. Just recently, I kind of decided, you know, I'm going to stop, or I'm going to notice a little bit more about these kind of news outlets kind of portraying it, and one very major news outlet where I was getting all my information from, well, I was kind of always diversifying, because this is something I kind of noticed probably about 3 or 4 years ago, how biased certain people are and certain companies are. But I noticed this one company. In the morning, there was 10 news articles. Out of the 10, 7 of them were definitely fear enticing in a way, trying to drive fear into make you click on something about how this country did something wrong, how this person did something wrong, how this is not the end, how this person's making a big mistake. Everything was fear, everything was wrong. I do want to say, sit down, really realize that everything has its sort of agenda. People push certain agendas just for clicks. They push certain agendas for revenue, and not to just get everything from one source. I did diversify where I got my sources from. I decided to check on the complete polar opposite of this news brand, a different news brand, and I would say out of 10 articles, I would say 7 or 8 of them were positive, almost like nothing was ever going on. So it's very important that, you know, wherever you do get your information from, I think it would make you a lot more smarter, or smarter in a way, or wiser in a way, if you kind of diversify where you get your information from, because like I said, everyone has an agenda, everyone's pushing something, and it's kind of unfortunate, but that's how they make money. That's how they make revenue. It is very consistent with certain people. It's very consistent with certain brands. And everything is about clicks. So, you know, if they're doing well and they're doing something that's getting a lot of clicks, they're going to continue to do that. As you can see from the information, you know, obviously you can make your own assumptions and own results from everything kind of going on. If you look at the numbers, you look at percentages, you can make your own, you know, solutions and realize what's kind of going on and what's not going on. And that's something I really want to make that aware of. Something I did talk about, I think, in my first video, is that a lot of these news outlets are going to try to get you with fear tactics, and that's because they get more clicks, and that results in more revenue. So I've definitely been seeing it a lot more recently, because I think they realize, you know, we're kind of getting towards, you know, the high point. We've been at the high point. We're kind of falling off in a way. Things are starting to open up, and they realized they were getting all their money from one way or the other. So I do want to say, remember that. Definitely diversify where you get your information from. You know, obviously this thing isn't over, but, you know, I think we're definitely heading down the right path. And, you know, a lot of things can make you feel a certain way. You know, it's kind of a shame that, you know, people do that, but, you know, this is, it's a business in some sort of way, and, you know, you just got to be aware of, you know, businesses are businesses. So hopefully a lot of things are going to start to get better here shortly. I think we're on the path to the right direction, I guess you can say. I think we've got to continue to social distance. The other day I was trash picking, and I literally saw another pickup basketball game playing on a public court. There had to be 8 or 10 people out there. Don't think that's the right thing to be doing now, but, you know, I think a lot of people are definitely trying to get out, and, you know, it's kind of like people are over it. So you're going to start seeing the country start to open up a little bit in phases, and, you know, I think as long as you take your precautions, don't go play pickup basketball, and stay away from people the best possible way that you can possibly do it, I think we'll be all right. So I think the days are getting better. Obviously it's not done, but days are definitely getting better, and we're in the right direction. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to hear me talk about some other topic, some sort of issue. You guys want to drop a comment down below on what you think about the phases. If you think it's right that we're starting to open up golf courses and salons and places like that, or whatever it might be, thrift stores, as long as there's definitely some precautions taken. Let me know in the comment section below. Drop down your feelings or your concerns or any sort of comment you might have, and I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's adventure. Until tomorrow, have a great day. Keep living the dream. Peace.